What's good? It's your boy 2K here. Just finished watching Carl Frampton's comeback fight, and I must say, man, not looking too good. Not looking too good. But I will give him this. He was on a 10-month layoff. He hadn't fought since he lost to Leo Santa Cruz back in January of this year. But from what I understand, the layoff is his fault because he wanted to spend some time with his family. This, of course, after he tried to get a trilogy made for this summer. But daddy struck again. You know what I'm saying? Leo Santa Cruz's daddy struck again. The first time being when Santa Cruz was campaigning at 122 pounds. Santa Cruz came out in the media and admitted that dear old daddy told him to stay away from Guillermo Rigondeaux, right? This time around, dear old daddy, in the fucking post-fight interview, you know what I'm saying? Pops didn't take no time. Told Leo Santa Cruz he did not want him going to Belfast for a trilogy with Carl Frampton. And just like a good little lad, Leo Santa Cruz listened to dear old daddy. And of course, we didn't have the fight made for this summer. It's not really a fight I really gave a fuck about because, you know, it wasn't a fight I really wanted to see from the get-go. Plus, in the second one, I felt Leo Santa Cruz won pretty easily. But it is what it is. Frampton would have been busy, and that's something that he should have been based on what I seen in this fight this evening against Horacio Garcia, right? But it's cool. We know he's a good family man, you know. It's the whole reason why he ducked Guillermo Rigondeaux. Hell yeah, through shade. Y'all remember what he said, right? Motherfucker was talking all greasy in the media before the Scott Quigg fight. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? After I beat this motherfucker Scott Quigg and I put something in his ass, you know what I'm saying? Then I'm gonna go to America and we gonna see who the real jackal is in this motherfucker. I remember those words. You know what I'm saying? It's exactly what he said. But then after he beat Scott Quigg, he went from sounding greasy to having the true voice of a ducker. This is what all duckers sound like. Oh man, I don't know, man. You know, Guillermo Rigondeaux, he's boring. You know, and I have a family to look after. The fuck out of here, bro. You got a family to look after. See, you ain't fought in 10 months. You know what I'm saying? Guillermo Rigondeaux, he always been active. You know what I'm saying? You just fought a motherfucker that don't bring in no revenue, and Horacio Garcia. No, hell, a lot of motherfuckers don't even know who he is, right? This past summer, instead of it being Leo Santa Cruz, you could have been fighting Guillermo Rigondeaux. Rigondeaux had to fight Moises Flores, but that shit was mandated by the WBA back in like April of this year. Y'all could have been in talks. Shit, Rigo would have moved up to 126. This motherfucker just showed that he can move up to 130 and fight somebody. If Carl Frampton was interested the way he acted like he was before the Scott Quigg fight at 122 pounds, you know, if he would have showed interest, I think Guillermo Rigondeaux would have had no problem fighting Carl Frampton at 126 in Belfast. And the fight would have easily sold out just like Guillermo Rigondeaux's fight with Lomachenko sold out. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, though. But instead of doing that, we got what we got tonight. He looked like shit. Horacio Garcia did a very good job, and he made a hell of an effort in the ring. You know what I'm saying? Carl Frampton was standing directly in front of him. Carl Frampton kept his hands down. He kept getting hit by shots. One thing I noticed, he's wide open up the middle, man. If Garcia would have been able to straighten up his punches a little bit better, he would have been able to tag the shit out of Carl Frampton all night long. Now, he did have some good work to the body. He was beating the shit out of Carl Frampton's body. And that was the main reason why Carl Frampton was getting winded. Probably around, I'd say around the 6th or 7th round, he started getting winded. And if you guys hadn't noticed, if you haven't watched the fight, I recommend to go and watch it. But for the cats that did watch it, if you notice, every time Garcia landed a body shot, Carl Frampton would hold. You know what I'm saying? It was literally like clockwork. If Garcia got too close, Carl Frampton immediately held. Shit, in my opinion, the motherfucker held so much Shit, the referee should have been giving him warnings. But of course, you know, that's not going to happen. The fight was in Belfast. It was in his hometown. He got some hometown cooking, especially on them goddamn scorecards. But anyway, it was clear that the body shots were getting to him. Garcia was just a little bit too slow, and his reaction time wasn't good enough. You know what I'm saying? He would get too wrapped up in his offense, and Carl Frampton was countering him pretty easily. You know what I'm saying? In a lot of those exchanges. So just like the Leo Santa Cruz Carl Frampton first fight, right? This kind of looked the same, with the exception to the fact that Horacio Garcia does not fight on the same level as a Leo Santa Cruz. It was really a guy with volume versus a guy with low volume who's looking to counter, right? One thing I didn't like, again, from Carl Frampton, he kept putting his fucking back up against the ropes. You know what I'm saying? And that was allowing Garcia to tee off, and he was taking these rounds. He was taking a few of these rounds by doing that. High work rate, man. You know what I'm saying? Effective aggression. It's exactly what he was applying. And that's exactly how Carl Frampton got tired, and that's exactly why he had to hold excessively. You see what I'm saying? So as far as effective aggression, he wins in that department. You know, defense, of course. Horacio Garcia is not a defensive fighter. I didn't see him slip shit. He did a lot of weaving with the upper body, but it was really just to get him. It was, in my opinion, to give himself a push. You know what I'm saying? To get ready to mount an offensive attack. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't to try to dodge anything, because he would do the weaving and shit when Carl Frampton wasn't even throwing punches. So he has no head movement. He wasn't really eluding nothing. Carl Frampton was doing more eluding of his shots, simply because a lot of Garcia's shots were wide, so Frampton could just easily duck under them, come back up with something. Also, he would slip his jab a lot of Garcia's jabs, slip them, and jab over his jab, or come with a counter right. You know what I'm saying? So defensive department is definitely Carl Frampton. Ring generalship, I mean, some rounds it was Frampton, some rounds it was Garcia. That's why this fight was close, in my opinion. Ring generalship, in terms of overall, I gotta give it to Garcia, man. You know what I'm saying? He was the one with the pressure. He was the one with the high volume. If Carl Frampton was picking his shots better, and he was using if he was using better footwork, in my opinion, you know what I'm saying? He was standing right there in front of him, and a lot of times he was engaging in slugfest with him, you know what I'm saying? And he was the one putting himself up against the ropes. If he wasn't doing those things, then of course the effective aggression and the high volume is null and void, because you're not being, it's not effective, you know what I'm saying? So I got to give ring generalship as a whole, but it's a very close situation here. I got to get that to Garcia. And then of course accurate punching, shit, I got to get that to Carl Frampton. You know what I'm saying? Again, Garcia was doing a high work rate, but a lot of his shots were missing because Carl Frampton had a better defense, and Carl Frampton was really timing his shots. Let me just say this, a lot of the ooh wow shots came from Carl Frampton. A lot of the combinations where a guy is taking combinations to the body or to the head came from Garcia, and that would be whenever Carl Frampton was up against the ropes, and that was his doing. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have to be there, so he essentially made this kid look better than what he could have. This could have been a much easier fight for Carl Frampton, but it is what it is. At the end of this fight, man, I had Garcia winning. I had him winning by 1 point, 95-94. Now the reason is because of the knockdown. Now in my opinion, it wasn't a knockdown, but the referee called it one, so you have to score it as such. You know what I'm saying? If that knockdown didn't happen, there's a possibility Carl Frampton could have won that round. In my opinion, Garcia was still winning that round, but Frampton could have etched it out, you know what I'm saying? And that could have been one of the swing rounds. Carl Frampton could have fucked around and won the fight on my scorecard if that knockdown didn't happen. It was clear that Frampton's left foot slipped on something. I don't think there was any moisture or anything on the mat, because, you know, Garcia wasn't slipping at all during the fight. You know what I'm saying? He was upright the entire time. He didn't look like he was off balance at any point in the fight. unless he was getting hit by Carl Frampton right hand. You know what I'm saying? But Frampton had slipped at least like 3 or 4 times throughout the fight, and oddly enough, it happened towards the end of the fight. It didn't really happen in the middle of the fight or in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? So it was obvious that he slipped on something, but at the same time, Garcia landed a right shot to the body. And I was watching the British broadcast, and a lot of them were concentrated on the left hook that Garcia tried to land up top, but the punch that he actually landed was a right hook to the body. And I guess the referee saw that, and that's what he ended up calling a knockdown for. The left hand up top was more on the guard of Carl Frampton. And the referee could have seen that too and thought, hey, you know, that force of that shot knocked him down. It is what it is, though. With that knockdown, I had Garcia winning, 95-94. I didn't have any problem with Carl Frampton taking this win. But at the end of the day, just based on how he looked, I understand why he ducked the shit out of Guillermo Rigondeaux. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. Rigo would have killed this motherfucker. Now, Carl Frampton, of course, he's one of the better known names at 126. He's not going to be fighting no prospects or nothing like that where he could risk losing a fight and, you know, losing his fan base and losing spots in the rankings. You know what I'm saying? Currently, right now, as the rankings sit, the WBC's ranked number 2. WBC champion, of course, is Gary Russell Jr. That motherfucker kills Carl Frampton. The WBA and the IBF, he's ranked number 3. IBF champion is Lee Selby. WBA champion, of course, is Leo Santa Cruz, right? That's the belt that he lost to him. And then, of course, in the WBO rankings, he's ranked number 7. That's Oscar Valdez. I don't think Bob Arum is going to make an Oscar Valdez Carl Frampton fight anytime soon. That's an excellent fight, in my opinion. That's a fight that I think Carl Frampton can fuck around and win. Of course, the Leo Santa Cruz trilogy is something that he's looking for. He said that in the post-fight interview. But I think the route that he's really going to take is against Lee Selby. Now, Lee Selby, y'all know I like this motherfucker because he comes to the ring to Big L. You know what I'm saying? Comes to the ring to that lifestyles of the porn dangerous, dog. Shit is real. That's when I used to think about being a professional boxer and I used to listen to people's ring walk, I used to be like, why the fuck are they listening to that whack ass shit, dog? How does that hype you up? You know what I mean? So when I heard Big L, I was like, see, that's the type of shit I walk to the ring to. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I like Lee Selby, but when I look at him in the ring, I gotta come back to earth. You know what I mean? And he's very limited. He has a lot of holes in his game. He looks very good on the UK circuit. He did beat I can't think of the guy's name right now, but the guy that beat Billy Dibb on a 2 weeks notice the first time they fought, then they had a rematch. He really beat the shit out of Billy Dibb. I can't think of his name right now. Evgeny Gradovich. Yeah, he beat the shit out of Gradovich. I think it was a technical decision, if I'm not mistaken. He ended up getting that win. But outside of Gradovich, man, I don't think he can contend against a lot of the cats at 126. You know what I'm saying? If he stand over on the UK circuit, sure. And shit, his next fight, which is going to be an IBF title defense against his mandatory, is Josh Warrington. And Josh Warrington is another UK guy who's really only looks good on the UK circuit. You know what I'm saying? So I think Carl Frampton will be on the IBF track because he really wants Lee Selby. He was trying to get that fight also this year when he couldn't get the Leo Santa Cruz trilogy. So I think that's the track that he'll be on. And honestly, in my opinion, that's the track that he needs to be on if he wants to go the safest route to being a champion. Ironically, Scott Quigg is ranked higher than Carl Frampton right now, which is weird because he beat Scott Quigg. But Quigg is ranked number 2 by the IBF. I wouldn't be surprised in the meantime while he's waiting on the winner of Lee Selby, Josh Warrington. I wouldn't be surprised if he fought Scott Quigg a second time. Also, you got Kid Galahad, who's an up-and-coming fighter in the UK. One of the only men to call out Guillermo Rigondeaux, you know what I'm saying? He's also, I think he's ranked number 5 or number 6. He's also on the radar. And I could see Carl Frampton fighting him as well while he waits for that winner of Warrington and Lee Selby. But to wrap up, man, Carl Frampton, dog, you need to be trying to get back in the ring like in February, my nigga. Real talk, dog. You didn't look good at all. I mean, it's probably eye-catching to some of these whack-ass fighters out here that think that you have a flaw. So now they'll be clamoring to fight you because they think it's an easy win. But in reality, man, you didn't look too good. A lot of people, at least over here in the States, that watch the fight, we're not going to put too much stock into you based on how you perform tonight. You know what I'm saying? YouTube, do what you do in the comment section. Let me know what you think about Carl Frampton and his performance in this fight. This is Real Talk for real fans. 1.